called Tears in Space. Here's why. It was inspired by this French artist named Yves Klein, and he invented a shade of blue. So maybe you know Klein blue. Maybe if you do, it's okay if you don't too. But anyway, he had a really pretty amazing and strange career. And probably his most famous thing is he made this blue color, and then he would bring out a couple of naked ladies and then paint them blue, and then they would press themselves against canvases or big sheets of paper, and then that became the painting because he wanted to figure out a way to paint without touching anything. And he actually did quite well, and these paintings were fairly successful. But then there's this infamous story. He met a woman by the Seine, the river in Paris, and talked her into buying an empty frame. There was nothing there, but he had this deep philosophical reason why there being nothing there was his greatest work of art ever, and apparently sold it for like a crazy amount of money. He was also a kung fu expert, which is kind of incredible. But the most amazing thing about Yves Klein, and this is demonstrated in a famous photo of Yves Klein, you see him leaping out of a window that's on about the third story of a building. You see him leaping and kind of arching toward the sky with his hands behind him like this. And the photograph is called Into the Void. And the reason this photo was taken is because he wanted to prove to people the claims that he had been making for a while at that point, that he could fly without the aid of any machinery whatsoever. Unaided travel, he called it. Unaided flight. And not only could he fly through the air, through the sky, he said to people very convincingly, if you ask me, that he had the power to fly all the way to the moon. Unaided lunar travel. And no one believed him, and as a matter of fact, he was ridiculed a lot. And there was a moment in his career when he was kind of top dog, but then his antics had a way of pulling the rug out from underneath him in his career. And so by the end of his career, he was sort of a laughingstock to a lot of people. I like to imagine that he could fly, and that people ridiculing him was very upsetting for Yves Klein, and so one day flies to the moon just to get away from it all and to cry, but there's no gravity in space. And so instead of the tears rolling down his face, they would just drift out of his eyes in little balls out into the cosmos. And I thought of that idea, and I thought, that's a nice idea. And so I wrote this. And it's called Tears in Space. And Marissa's going to help out. Don't you like that idea, though? Like crying in zero gravity?
Yeah.
It's a pretty idea. Here it is. Oh, wait. I forgot I started. High as the sky, it is wide and eternal. Words in my head on a wall in a journal. Deep as the sea, and it's dark and relentless. I am in awe, overcome and defenseless. High in the sky, it is wide and eternal. Words in my head on a wall in a journal. Deep as the sea, and it's dark and relentless. I am in awe, overcome and defenseless.
Endless blue, a voyage to the moon. I hide my face and cry these tears in space. Endless blue, a voyage to the moon. I hide my face and cry these tears in space.
A new world calls for a new man, a new English. We paint with fire, no water to extinguish. Bodies of our lovers turn mothers scandalous. They become permanent in ash and canvas. Blue is my spirit, my creation, my alias. We see it all, not at all me and Malius. Into the firmament, empty and faded. No use for equipment, I travel unaided. No need for cannons, rulers and rockets. Looking for answers, I dig in my pockets. Pseudo-science and judo giants material. I reject the worldly and choose the ethereal. How to describe these unnamed sciences with 20-minute chords and 20-minute silences. Invaders' views, I'm out in the Raiders' shoes, singing the ancient Afghan traders' blues. High as the sky, as wide and eternal. Words in my head on a wall in a journal. Deep as the sea and it's dark and relentless. I am in awe, overcome and defenseless. High as the sky, it's wide and eternal. Words in my head on a wall in a journal. Deep as the sea and it's dark and relentless. I am in awe, overcome and defenseless.
A voyage voyage to the moon. I hide my face and cry these tears in space. Endless blue, a voyage to the moon. I hide my face and cry these tears in space.
The ocean below, the clear sky above and beyond, space is waiting for our love. As I am longing for you, go with me, traveling through space, music and poetry. I am against the line and its consequences. Only the invisible word haunts the senses. Within my self-imposed exile, disaster cease. I escape to the sky, my beautiful masterpiece. Big hand for Marissa here. Like I said, we're gonna see a lot of hands. Cardboard crown across the side, it says fragile. Shirt unbuttoned, pleasure fool of agile. Ripped up forms, men with swords tear the flesh. Eyes like shadows, one-way ticket, Marrakesh. No doors or windows, caught on fire, high-speed train. Smashed up lives, torrential downpour, I need pain. Stuntman's wife, back alley, mattress, wrath of addicts. Underwater, second language, mathematics. Run like a racehorse, outright madness. Under the bridge, will make out like bandits. Bandits, bandits. Run like a racehorse, outright madness. Under the bridge, will make out like bandits. Make it stop, hurry up, go away, fight it off, hit it hard, take a hold, show the way, take it down, bring it up, make it bleed, try it now, call it off, kick it out, let it breathe, tie it down. Make it stop, hurry up, go away, fight it off, hit it hard, take a hold, show the way, take it down, bring it up, make it bleed, try it now, call it off, kick it out, let it bleed, tie it down. Motion sickness, drying yellow, heaven beckons. Tornado, boredom, target practice, 7 seconds. Cimetière du Montparnasse, spare decision. Russell's Viper, 3 a.m. mid-air collision. Silly girls and beat-up boys all going fast. Lightning fires, killing music, blowing glass. Whispered fury, deepest secrets, separate treasures. Fiasco ping, now slap your forehead, desperate measures. Make it stop, hurry up, go away, fight it off, hit it hard, take a hold, show the way, take it down, break it up, make it bleed, try it now, call it off, kick it out, let it breathe, tie it down. Make it stop, hurry up, go away, fight it off, hit it hard, take a hold, show the way, take it down, break it up, make it bleed, try it now, call it off, kick it out, let it breathe, tie it down. Run like a racehorse, outright madness. Under the bridge, will make out like bandits. Bandits, bandits, bandits. Run like a racehorse, outright madness. Under the bridge, will make out like bandits. This song is actually in a movie with Robert De Niro in a scene where he's in the bathroom with no shirt, standing in front of a mirror, grooming himself to this song, which is basically the highlight of my whole career.